today's toy spot, we are looking at the NECA Toys Gremlins Series 1 Daffy. Recommended for ages 14 and up, Daffy comes with a pair of joke glasses as well as the party favor horn. You know those horns. The ones that you always see at New Year's Eve. I don't see them at New Year's Eve, but you know, always in stereotypical movie fashion, you always have New Year's Eve. They're always blowing the little horns there. There's a picture down below of Daffy. The card is the exact same white back card that we see with all the Mogwais and the Gremlins figures. I'm okay with that. We don't need an overly busy package because the trade-off is a fantastic figure inside. Speaking of packaging, spinner on the back. The Mogwais consist of Gizmo, George, Lenny, and Daffy in their Mogwai treatment. Combat, Gizmo, and Mohawk. Then, below that, you have Flasher, George, Daffy, Lenny, Lightning, and Phantom in Gremlins treatment. To check out more from the folks over at NECA Toys, you can go to www.necaonline.com. Spot's going to take a break. Going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're getting a better look at Gremlins Series 1 Daffy. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Daffy is definitely a very crazy looking gremlin. His accessories include a pair of joke glasses. And as we already had mentioned, comes also with a little party favor horn. You can take both accessories and technically put them on Daffy. One is a little easier than the other. The glasses sit just right here. They sit well on his eyes, but you have to get them kind of around his ears, like that. As you can see, it sits very easily on his face. The favor, however, the little horn here, very much like George, you really have to kind of force it in there to get him to sit it, to actually hold it in his mouth. You could also, of course, have the horn more in his hand, but his hands really aren't designed to hold stuff. So really when you have him holding it, you really just sit it, kind of just sit it inside his hand. I guess really for that matter, it does a good enough job of holding it, but you can see it, he is not actually gripping it. You just kind of sit it in, you kind of cup it inside of his hand. I'm not really sure how I would display Daffy, to be honest, whether I would actually display him with the glasses themselves or if I would take the glasses off. I think both looks work well for Daffy. I might just ultimately, maybe if anything, leave the glasses off just because he fits better, I think, with the other Gremlins by not having that. Let's go ahead and take the horn out of his hand as well. To give you guys a comparison, let's bring in the one we've already had a look at, and that's George. Like the Gremlins, like the Mogwais all share the exact same body, and what they've done is just retooled the head. The Gremlins, on the other hand, are a little bit different. They look like they share the exact same body, which is fine. They've repainted the bodies different from one another, where George has stripes, Lenny more has spots, or Daffy, I should say, more has spots. But really, the bodies are exactly the same to one another. And then all they've done is changed out the head. Whereas George has the more folded back, shorter ears, Daffy goes all out with very large ears. Almost more similar to the original Mogwai than what George was here. They're very fun accompanying pieces, especially when you get Lenny in there as well. You can get the trio of Gremlins all standing together, and then you can bring in poor little Gizmo. There he is right there. You can have the kind of Gremlins surrounding him. You also had the Spider Gremlin, a perfect accompanying piece that you can have him in the background there as well. Lenny's paint, as you can see, is a lot lighter than that of George. Daffy, I should say. I keep wanting to call him Lenny. Daffy's paint is much lighter than that of George. Lenny, when we get a look at Lenny, you'll see how much darker he is versus the other two here. I'm not really sure which one I like more, though. I love the expression on Daffy's face, but there's something about George that I really warm up to as well. I just really like that grumpy, They would all technically be the same age, but George just reads better to me like an older, like just grumpier looking gremlin. When it comes to Daffy's articulation, he has the same articulation as the George that we've already had a look at. His head is technically on a ball joint, but you really can't do too much with it. You can rotate it, yes, but moving it up and down, it's not really, it almost serves absolutely no purpose by moving the head up and down. Shoulders, however, hinge out, and you can really start seeing the, I want to say the arm span of the Gremlins, how far out they reach. The arms do technically rotate all the way around, but of course you will be hitting his ears, so you won't be able to move them all the way around. He does have a bend in the elbow, which allows also the forearm to rotate. He has a rotation in the hand, which rotates at the wrist. It doesn't look like it's maybe a ball joint, but it looks like it more just rotates than anything else. Like the George, he has absolutely no waist articulation. But his legs are on a ball joint, rotate all the way around. He has a hinged knee and also a ball joint foot. It does pivot as well as rotates. Again, I think my favorite might so far be George. Daffy's got some personality definitely going for him, especially if you incorporate the glasses. But for me, I might just leave the glasses completely off. Today's Toy Spot, we were continuing our looks at the NECA Toys Gremlins Series 1 figures. I know they were a little old, but Spot wanted to definitely have a look at them. Today we're having a look at Daffy. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more toy spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.